What up, YouTube? I am in Dallas, Texas for the ParkupFront Supercar Expo. And I've already been inside. I've already filmed a little bit, and I'm going to show you those clips in a second. I just want to take a minute to come out here, talk to you, introduce myself. I'm William King. This is Desk Side Engineering. I hope you're enjoying the content, and let's go check it out. Alright, guys. So, starting off, there's a bunch of 570s in the video, so there's the most common supercar here, so I won't talk too much about this one. But here we have ourselves an Enzo Ferrari, which this was one of 5 hypercars that was at the Supercar Expo, and this was a really gorgeous example of the car. I'm not really a Ferrari guy myself, but I have to admit these are gorgeous cars, and it's in Ferrari red, which is the perfect color to get it. Inside the interior, it's very Spartan, very race car-esque. You can't really see too well in the video here. They did open it up later on in the day, but yeah, it is just a great looking car. The other 4 hypercars, which we'll talk about at the end, they're all actually owned by the same person, and one of those hypercars is very special. So here we have just a couple other random cars that were just there. Fun fact: so this here is a MG, and I actually had an MG TD sitting in my backyard for years. It was my dad's car. He was storing it at my house, and yeah, that thing was always just sitting there. So one day it'll get restored. There's a couple other Mopar cars there. I didn't really focus too much on them because they're kind of common. This one did have a nice wrap though. Now this Gallardo right here is a gated manual 05 Gallardo, and the funny thing is right before this I was actually trying to buy a yellow gated manual 04 Gallardo in almost the exact same spec as this one, and to see one here at the show made me really sad because I wasn't able to buy it. But actually a week after the show I was actually able to get the guy to sell me the car, so that was it's really kind of awesome. Nice little R8 over there. Like I said, another 570. Lots of 570s in the show. I do like the way the 570s look. This was a car that I was considering buying at one point, and I wouldn't mind owning one of these days. But yeah, this GTR. So Kira was pointing out that why is it called a muscle car? Well, the Supra next to it is actually owned by the same guy, and you'll see here that they also have the Supra listed as a exotic, which it is not. So the reason why the guy had those listed like that is because there was a contest for best car, and he wanted those submitted to different categories. Nice little 720S here. Really do love the matte black look on this, and the exposed carbon hood. Just an absolutely gorgeous vehicle. I really just cannot beat the power on the 720Ss. Nice little Porsche. Ourselves a nice Jaguar. Some more 570s. This one was a GT, not an S. This Aston Martin was just had the prettiest color on that paint. Aston Martins are such cool cars, and I would really like to own one, except for the maintenance on them is just abysmal. They're the most unreliable cars, and it's just not something that I would want to take on. And this black Gallardo was also a gated manual, had the nice Superleggera wing, and just a really clean black Gallardo. Such a pretty car. Here we were talking about the different purples, trying to figure out like which purple was better on the 2 570s here. I like the gloss. Another Ferrari, I believe this one's 458. Again, not really a Ferrari guy, but that is a clean car. You got yourself a nice clean NSX. Not an exotic, but definitely a supercar. I wouldn't call it an exotic because it's made by Honda. I know that Lamborghinis are owned by Volkswagen, but Lamborghini is its own boutique company, and the NSX is not. Same here with like the Mercedes. Like this Mercedes bi-turbo, absolutely a supercar, but I would not call Mercedes an exotic. Even the GTRs, I wouldn't call those exotics because Mercedes makes, you know, everyday regular sedans and cars, and they are not a boutique shop. To me, the definition of exotic is made by a boutique company that only makes those high performance exotic cars. Now these are supercars, absolutely supercars, but not exotics. Now this BMW i8 is a pretty strong example of not a supercar and not an exotic, but it looks like one. Because they're not really fast, so I wouldn't necessarily call it super, and it's not exotic because it's made by BMW. I mean, it is a good looking car. I wish they were fast. I was very disappointed with these cars, but it is the cheapest way to get billionaire doors.
Cheapest way to get billionaire doors on a car right now.
This Huracan was something else. Now they're obviously advertising the wrap company, but you know, I sort of feel like when you have a Huracan, it's just a license to go crazy with the color scheme. But you know, it works. And this Ferrari had been in so many races and events, and according to the owner, it had done quite well. It's a nice gated manual too. I don't know if there was anything special with this Challenger other than it was here and had the ParkupFront stickers all over it. I mean, I had a Challenger myself, but and they are great cars, but you can have issues. Mine was a lemon. Now this GTR was phenomenal. Just there was so much custom carbon fiber all over this vehicle, and it was just so neat and clean, and I was so happy to see this at the show. The reason why the wheels are off is because he has those on the little display stand, which we'll see in a second. But yeah, just such a good looking car. Here you go, you got another R8. This one was kind of cool because it had this little blowout picture right here where you can sort of see how everything works on the R8. And these R8s are the same as the Huracans. They have the same engine, same powertrain, all of that, and the same as Gallardos, depending on what year R8. And these Vipers here. Vipers are really cool looking cars, and these were some really clean examples. Definitely, this is a good example of a mid-engine supercar because even though the engine's in front, it is behind the rear wheels, so they are mid-engine. They are super. They're V10s. They're very fast, but not exotics because they are made by Dodge, and the same company that makes the Caravan can't exactly be considered exotic. You got yourself a nice LP Anniversary Edition Gallardo, although that one was E-geared. This was the only Aventador in the whole building. I was surprised that there weren't more Aventadors. There's actually only one Murcielago as well, so only 2 V12 Lamborghinis in the whole place. Nice Maserati Gran Turismo. It would be really interesting to have somebody pick one of those up cheap and see if you can actually get that whole supercar status on a budget that all the YouTubers are talking about. There's 2 C8 Corvettes there, and I really love the way the C8 Vets look and perform. And you really can't beat them. Now the taillights, at first I didn't mind the taillights, but after seeing several of them on the road and confusing them for Camaros, I understand what the complaints are now. This was a really neat and clean Mercedes GTR. Nice Huracan. And we also have a nice Rolls-Royce Wraith. These are really pretty cars. Another Huracan. This Gallardo here is a pre-LP Gallardo, but it had the LP front end modded. Another BMW i8, Bentley Continental, Shelby Cobra. There's actually two of these, but I didn't get any footage of the second one. Unfortunately, it came in after. Well, I got a little bit right there, but that's all I got of it, unfortunately. Another LP Gallardo modification. Over here, these were the blacked out cars. You had yourself a murdered out Porsche and a murdered out Jaguar, and then another, black C8 Vet. The thing with black is, black looks absolutely gorgeous in photographs and video, where you can still see the body lines and you can see everything and see all the details of the car in black. Just looks really, really pretty. The place where black doesn't work, though, is when you're at a car show and you're at an event and you got a black car, it just becomes a shadow in the background and then nobody notices your car. If you have a really nice car, you want people to notice it. And with a fully blacked out car, it just disappears into the background. But it does look good on Instagram. The interior on the 720S, this is the second time I've seen that purple interior on one of these, and it looks so awful. It looks so cheap. It looks so dated. I mean, everything else about the car is so great, but that color on that interior is terrible. I don't know why they did it. Couldn't really get too close to the Porsche Taycan while I was filming right here, and I didn't bother coming back. But these are pretty interesting cars. This Ferrari had the Liberty Walk wide body kit on it, and you can tell this person really built a nice track monster out of it. It sounded fantastic as they pulled it into the show as well. And here you have the only Murcielago, the only other V12 Lamborghini in the whole show. I love them Lambo doors. This Pantera was really unique. Both the hood and the bonnet were solid carbon fiber, and it was just so neat and clean. And painting the car black, I mean, like any imperfection would show, and those body lines are just perfect. And it's absolute gorgeous classic car. Alright, so now we have the last of the hypercars. First up is the Bugatti Chiron. It's the first time I've ever actually seen a Chiron in person, and let me tell you, this spec is fantastic. This is the exact spec that I would get if I could get a Chiron. I love the colors. I'm a big fan of blue. And it's just so neat and clean with the two-tone. And the interior was perfect on this car as well. I love the wheels. Those big old carbon ceramic brakes. Such a fantastic car. Now the Senna, these Sennas are really cool looking cars, really nice body lines. This one in silver, I don't know if I'd go with silver on a Senna. It's a little plebeian for such a fancy car. I would think you would need a better color. Still looks good, don't get me wrong. Looks fantastic, but I don't know. I would think you would need something a little bit more special than just silver. And of course, speaking of special, we have the Joker, the purple carbon fiber Pagani Huayra. This is a one-of-one car, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in a second. But let's just say, may she rest in peace. Pieces, as it were. Now over here we have the La Ferrari in Ferrari red. Again, really gorgeous cars. I'm still not a Ferrari guy, and like the Enzo we saw earlier, this was also the interior was very race car-esque, very Spartan, very minimalist. But truly a fantastic machine. I'm not a Ferrari guy. I mean, if I'd had to pick, like, I wouldn't pick one of these. But they are good looking, and you really just cannot beat the performance. Alright, so back over to the one-of-one purple carbon fiber Pagani Roadster. Just a phenomenally gorgeous car, so unique, so rare, such a piece of art. And yeah, I'm sure as you're watching this video you probably already heard, but this car was actually destroyed a couple days ago. The owner's 17-year-old son was filming an Instagram video or a YouTube video and crashed the car and totaled it. The kid claims that it's not because he's 17, but you know what? When I was 17, I over-accelerated on a turn too, and I crashed into a curb too, and I totaled my parents' car as well. But it was a Honda Accord, and I had to pay for that out of pocket to fix it. And I mean, it cost me an entire paycheck, and that was a very valuable lesson. But this was a $4 million one-of-one hypercar that he crashed. This was not the car to learn that lesson on. I mean, it's wintertime in Dallas, and he said he had just taken it out of his parents' house and had just put it on the road, which means that the tires were probably cold. And then he gassed it a little bit, and it lost control because the tires were not sticky. It's just a true shame, really, just an absolute shame. And I'm glad the kid's relatively okay, and I know he broke his arm, but other than that, he survived, and everyone else survived. No other cars were involved, but his arrogance in the whole situation really leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I know it could have happened to anybody, but still, I feel like someone so young should not be messing around with such expensive toys. But that's my own opinion. Again, I love this Bugatti. And it's sad that kid who wrecked that Huayra gets to drive this Bugatti, and that Ferrari, and that Senna. And he's probably still going to be driving these cars. Maybe he can pull a hat trick and wreck all 4 of them. Look at that tail end. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the virtual walkthrough. This is Death Scythe Engineering. I'm William King, and I hope you have an awesome day. Please make sure you smash that like button, comment below what car you liked best, and yeah.